Just moments ago, former President Donald Trump reignited a firestorm with a pointed message aimed squarely at the heart of American retail. Speaking at a press conference, Trump stated that Walmart should simply absorb the cost of his administration's new round of tariffs. But the timing couldn't be worse. Within the same 24-hour cycle, Walmart made its own announcement, a far less optimistic one. The company declared that it has no choice but to raise prices across the board, citing the unbearable weight of increased import duties. According to the retail giant, this isn't just a corporate problem, it's a consumer reality. Inflation is about to hit American wallets harder than ever before. Alongside Walmart, Target also issued a similar warning, sounding the alarm that shoppers may soon see everyday staples disappear from shelves. A growing list of suppliers faced with skyrocketing container costs and shrinking margins are starting to cancel shipments entirely. What began as a policy of economic protection is now spiraling into a full-blown supply chain crisis. Imagine strolling through your neighborhood Walmart on a quiet Sunday morning. You reach for the usual 500-drum pack of beef priced at $9 last week, only to find it's now nearly $14. Lettuce, once a cheap $1.89, is marked up by 30%. Even your child's favorite breakfast cereal is now $2 more expensive. And it doesn't stop there. From electronics to home goods, prices are climbing across all departments. As these hikes ripple through the economy, Walmart has quietly pulled down its signature everyday low prices banners from store aisles. Officially, the campaign is shelved. But why? The company is desperately trying to prevent a massive $25 billion net loss in Q2 2025. But consumer prices are just the tip of the iceberg. In a more shocking development, Walmart has announced it will pause operations at 10 major distribution centers across the country, beginning in late June. These pauses come with another devastating cost: the temporary furlough of over 50,000 employees. For many of these workers, mostly contract or seasonal, the layoffs may not be temporary at all. And beyond personal hardship, the ripple effect is even more dangerous. These shutdowns threaten to unravel the fragile just-in-time logistics model that has defined American retail for over 30 years. This isn't a logistics hiccup, it's a direct hit to a finely tuned machine. With containers idling at ports, trucks stranded without cargo, and warehouses packed with unsellable goods, the supply chain is now a maze of delays and losses. Experts warn that unless the White House pulls back from its tariff warpath, this could trigger the largest retail breakdown in U.S. history. Just as the holiday shopping season begins, this economic turmoil can be traced directly to April 2nd, 2025. That's when President Trump, in a fiery press event in the Rose Garden, signed Executive Order 257. Known widely as the Liberation Day tariffs, the order imposed a flat 10% duty on all imports with the exception of Canada and Mexico. But the biggest shock came 4 days later. A 145% tariff on Chinese goods was unveiled, a move that sent panic through the global manufacturing sector and American corporate boardrooms alike. The fallout was immediate. The Hunar Toy Factory, a longtime supplier for Walmart in Guangdong, China, saw 70% of its U.S. orders canceled overnight. Within a week, hundreds of workers were laid off. Other factories across China, Vietnam, and Indonesia reported similar cancellations. According to the American Toy Association, nearly 45% of their members are now facing potential bankruptcy due to lost contracts and inventory stranded at sea. The damage didn't stop with China. On May 2nd, President Trump threatened a 50% tariff on all EU imports unless Brussels agreed to renegotiate trade terms within 30 days, though a temporary extension was granted after a tense phone call. With European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, the threat alone was enough to vaporize $180 billion in EU market value. In Germany, one of America's largest trade partners, auto exports were halted overnight. The stock market response was brutal. The Euro Stoxx 600 dropped 4.4% in just 3 sessions. In South Korea, the reaction was equally frantic. A new 25% tariff on imported vehicles threatened to wipe out nearly half of Hyundai and Kia's U.S. exports. Seoul's government convened an emergency economic session to assess job losses in major industrial hubs like Ulsan and Gwangju. Their central bank now predicts a 4% drop in GDP from auto exports alone in Q3 2025. Walmart, being America's largest importer of foreign goods, is caught in the middle. It once moved an astonishing 11,000 containers per day through its global distribution network. That system is now choked by port delays, inflated freight costs, and canceled shipments. The cost of shipping a 40-foot container from Asia to the U.S. has jumped from $3,500 to $6,000. $500 in 3 weeks, and experts warn it could soon breach $8,500. The just-in-time model, once praised for its cost efficiency, is now the company's biggest liability. Adding to the chaos, warehouse rents have skyrocketed, with bonded storage spaces increasing by over 400%. Flex, a warehousing startup often described as the Airbnb of storage, has reported 6-fold demand increases, and now operates on a waitlist basis. With distribution centers paused, Walmart is burning millions daily just to store idle goods, costs that Jitty once helped eliminate entirely. The bigger question, are tariffs working? Walmart's $25 billion hit, tens of thousands of lost jobs, and collapsing support industries, from warehouses to cardboard factories, paint a grim picture. Yes, tariffs may aim to revive U.S. industry, but without a real exit plan, America may not be headed toward a manufacturing boom, but toward an economic freefall.